My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC picks and DraftKings lineups run by professional fighters and MMA insiders. Every week, I join Nick Newell, professional fighter, professional model, and ESPN Top 10 guest, along with Dan Kramer, UFC fighter, Bellator fighter, Ultimate Fighter alumni, and Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. And we break down every single fight, the betting odds, the DraftKings picks, and we set you up for success. You saw our preliminary DraftKings lineups for UFC 264 last week. It has been a full week. We were lucky enough that no fights dropped, but there were some missed weights at weigh-ins, and things change over the course of a week. So we are going to walk through our last and final updated DraftKings lineups for UFC 264. Poirier versus McGregor 3. I will walk through mine first. So right out of the gate, I have Omari Akhmedov. I'm very confident that he will beat Brad Tavares. He is an underdog in this spot. Brad Tavares has very, very good takedown defense. That's the one thing that worries me. But Akhmedov is a genuine, legitimate wrestler, not just a guy who has some takedowns, an actual wrestle-first kind of guy. I think he gets this done. And at $7,600, I will take that. Then I have Max Griffin over Carlos Condit. Condit worries me because he's just such a tried and true veteran and he can do anything from anywhere. But at the end of the day, Max Griffin is younger, faster, stronger, and I think he just outpaces, outlasts, and outworks Carlos Condit. I have Sean O'Malley over the 1 week short notice Chris Motino. I imagine everybody is going to have Sean O'Malley in the DraftKings lineup. So the debate is, do I have him in there because everybody has him in there? And, I don't want to miss the boat. He's going to be.
Sometimes you got to play the chalk. If you really think he's going to dominate, that's what you got to do.
Well, and that's the problem because at the end of the day, you need the 6 highest scoring fighters in your lineup. I absolutely think he's one of the 6 highest scoring fighters on this card. So even though everybody else has it, I'd be stupid not to have him in there. If there was somebody else that I thought would score more than him, I'd put them in. I mean, O'Malley, I think, wins in the first round by knockout. I don't know what else you would possibly want. Then I have Wonderboy over Burns. You guys are split over this. I see the comment section. I think Wonderboy is just too long, too crafty, too big, and just too well at gauging distance for Gilbert Burns to get in on and make something happen. I understand Gilbert Burns has been a killer and he went toe-to-toe with Usman. But yeah, he went toe-to-toe with Usman and then got put out. And I know the one thing that worries me is that Wonderboy got put out by Pettis. That worries me, actually, because, Burns possesses that same power as Pettis for sure. But either way, I think Stephen Thompson is big, tall, rangy, and a really difficult style. I absolutely think he beats Gilbert Burns, so I have him in my lineup. Tai Tuivasa is like, if there's a lock on this card, I think it's Tai Tuivasa. I mean, Tai Tuivasa is a legitimate heavyweight contender and has been for a while. He has power. He has wrestling if he needs it. He has kicks, and he has a chin from hell, where Greg Hardy is just a really big athlete with power. I don't think that's enough to get this done. I think Tuivasa does whatever the hell he wants to and eventually gets the stoppage. And then finally, I have Hugh Yazong over Amadovsky. Couple things here. One, Hugh was a huge underdog and the money's starting to come in. And now that the weigh-ins have happened, I guarantee he will be a favorite going into Saturday night because he looks phenomenal. Like, he is massive for that weight, looks in great shape. At the end of the day, he's had a 3-year layoff and there was a USADA suspension in there. But hey, he looks fantastic. He's come down in weight. He has the skills. He's got very good wrestling. He's just a tough dude. And honestly, at the end of the day, his opponent is not that good. And that is why I have Hugh in here. My choice was between Hugh, and if you saw my lineup earlier in the week or last week, I had Nico Price. I still think Nico versus Pereira is first of all, it's definitely an awesome fight. But I think Nico Price will beat Michel Pereira because I think he'll pull the crazy out of Pereira and then literally out crazy him and win. But if I'm looking at the fighters and then their opponents, Hugh Yazong is not like Amadovsky is not good at all, where Michel Pereira is very good. So I'm just going with the person with the lesser opponent here. So Nico has a really tough fight and a really tough opponent. Hugh Yazong is not fighting a very good person. So I put him in my lineup. I swapped him for Nico. You know, I should be good. I'm almost positive Hugh wins. I love him in the underdog spot. He'll probably be a favorite by the time the fight night comes. Watch our betting guide. I've got a couple bets on him as well. So Danny boy, why don't you walk us through your lineup?
Sure. First things first. I mean, I must say, we only have 2 different fights here. That it's always
And
a
actually,
little
real
concern.
quick, you're right. And I didn't touch the main event. So sorry. I don't have anybody in the main event because I think Conor McGregor wins, but I'm not confident enough in that to tie up a slot. So I don't want to tie up a slot here because, that fight is honestly split down the middle, but go ahead.
Yeah, it looks like it's for me and you. It's going to come down to Poirier and Kunitskaya versus Thompson and Akhmedov. So should be interesting. The Poirier fight will really, I think, dictate a lot. Anyways, I'm going to run through mine bottom to top because I'll just talk through some of the changes I made. So I did add in Hugh as well. There's the whole story on him was on paper. His recent losing streak looked bad. A lot of things didn't look good on paper. Nobody could find footage of him. I was able to find a friend sent me a video of him hitting mitts. He looked solid. Not a lot you could tell from it, but to your point, he looks like he's in the right weight class now. He is shredded at 185. All of his losses were at light heavyweight, and I think even heavyweight. So
heavyweight, yeah.
Yeah, he was just fighting in the wrong weight class. That's point one. And point two is over the last couple years, they've put that UFC Institute Performance Center in China. So if he's there maximizing that, down at the right weight class, working on his skills, we could see a totally different fighter. So I think that's why you're seeing a lot of money come in on him. And to your point, Ahmedovsky, he's tough, but if Hugh Yazong has been working on his skills for 2 years, he's in the right weight class. I think that's a great value at $7,200, and he could win the fight. Then we got Tuivasa over Hardy. I wouldn't quite say it's a lock. Hardy is definitely always live in the first round. He's powerful. He hits hard. But I think Tuivasa is just overall a better mixed martial artist. And from a cardio standpoint, Hardy has struggled in later rounds. I know he's got asthma, whatever it is. In the second and third round, if this fight is a back and forth fight at all and there's some wrestling involved, I could see him having issues and getting finished later in the fight. So got him for 8,400. Dustin Poirier, talked about this at length in some of our other videos. I don't see this fight going much differently than the last fight, other than McGregor will probably be a little bit better shape. So I just see the same thing playing out over the course of 3 to 4 rounds as opposed to 2 rounds. I think Poirier is going to be able to use his wrestling if he wants, get in the clinch, tire McGregor out. And once McGregor loses that first round pop, there's not a lot I think he can do to win this fight past, call it midway point of the second round. So first part of the second round, he's always live for a knockout. That's 100% a reality that could happen. But Poirier's shown he can take his best shots and still be there. So if it plays out like the last fight, I don't see much going differently. Then I got Sean O'Malley. I worked him in for the 9,500. You kind of said it before. Is he going to be one of the top scorers on this card? I think he's got to be, right? He's fighting a short notice guy, regional experience. I watched some tape on Moutinho. I will say he looked like he's got some skills, but he also looks very hittable. He kind of takes one to give one type of thing, and against a guy who's like in O'Malley, who's kind of a sharpshooter when it comes to striking, and it also has other ways to win. I think he's got to be in your lineup if you can afford him. So I spent the 9,500 on him. Then I put in Kunitskaya. So I was back and forth on this fight. Originally I thought Aldana was going to win. I still don't know how this fight is going to go, but Aldana missed weight. That's never a good sign. And basically I had, call it 8,100 left over. Between all the fighters left at that price point, I think she is the most optimal to be in a 3-round fight and get a good amount of points. So I put her in there. Could be a close fight. Maybe she wins, maybe she doesn't. But I think out of the call it 8,000 and below fighters that I don't already have a direct opponent picked for, I think she's probably the most optimal to get the most points, especially in a tournament game. And then last, I got Max Griffin. You said it too. I mean, Condit is tough. He's good, but I think just he's getting a little older. He's a little bit slower. I think he'll hang tough in the fight, but Griffin's, I think, just going to be one step ahead of him, a little bit more athletic, a little faster, beating to the punch in each scenario. So I think it'll be a great fight to watch, but I do think Griffin will win, and I think I'll score a bunch of points. So that's my lineup. I feel really good about it. I'm going to also do a bunch of multi-entry stuff, so feel free to, comment in the videos if you're looking for some multi-entry stuff, because I think there's a lot of live dogs and things you can play around with, but this is definitely my tournament play and 50-50 play.
Yeah, and for your Kunitskaya pick, I think Kunitskaya wins the fight. She has more tools in her bag. She can grapple if she needs to. She's got kicks. Aldana has great boxing, but I think Kunitskaya wins this fight. So that's not a bad pick. Let's take a look at Jacob's lineup. So Jacob has Ryan Hall over to Poirier. I have never seen people so split on a fight before. I mean, we have 2 breakdown videos, and they're going wild on both ends of that pick. Ryan Hall is his pick. I mean, that's Jacob's lock of the week. He is 100% convinced that Ryan Hall is going to take Poirier's leg off of his body and go home with it. Then he has Greg Hardy over to Ivasa. He's just loving the Greg Hardy power here. He thinks Greg Hardy comes forward and just blasts to Ivasa with those big, heavy hands. He's got Sean O'Malley for all the reasons we have Sean O'Malley. He has Michelle Pereira. At the end of the day, Michelle Pereira is the better fighter than Nico Price. But is he going to fight like a fighter, or is he going to get dragged into a crazy war? Jacob thinks he's going to fight like a fighter. He's got Dustin Poirier in the main event. This is a flip-flop. He flopped.
I was going to say, didn't he pick McGregor?
Yeah.
He's been watching him? Oh, what happened? Because McGregor got his haircut?
Yeah. He was like, either McGregor wins and I'm happy because that's who I want to win, or Dustin wins and my DraftKings lineup does okay. So that's stupid. Don't do that. Whoever you want in that slot, they're the same price. Whoever you want in that slot, put him in that slot. He did the opposite of what he actually wants to happen in real life, because he thinks he'll be happy either way, when in fact he'll just be annoyed either way.
He also texted me saying McGregor got his haircut on Embedded, which apparently in his mind, that just means that you're going to get destroyed. So
apparently he's all about those curses. And then he's got Stephen Thompson over Gilbert Burns for all the reasons that I said, the range, the distance, and he's just really hard to get to. So that's Jacob lineup. Those are our final lineups. Go to wewantpicks.com/DraftKings. Join our league. It is 100% free to join, 100% free to play. And if you win the league, we send you money. We literally just send you money out of the goodness of our heart, because we're trying to grow the channel and grow the community. So hop in. If you're a subscriber, we will send you $15. If you are a member, which means you click the join button below this video, we'll send you $30. So become a member, go for the $30, and we'll see you Saturday for these awesome fights.